All right, welcome back. State of the game, August 18th. It's been a while.
Yeah, it has.
I missed people.
It has.
I did. I missed you. I missed them. You didn't, apparently.
I did, of course. I'm
Okay,
just like,
guy.
oh, that's already very cheesy.
Well, I'm going to start with a little bit of cheese.
No, that is.
We have been back since the start of this week, so that's cool. I've actually had a really good time streaming a bit this week and getting back in touch with you guys, which has been great. We, like you guys know, have some situations with the game right now, and that's putting it mildly. But the next coming weeks are going to be very interesting for you guys and for us, because we want to make sure that that conversation is ongoing. So that's a reason why we are able to see what you're saying in chat. Source of Envy saying, they always seem so awkward. Lol. Yeah. It's true.
We see all the nice things and the not so nice things as well.
But the thing is, that awkwardness I like to fabricate sometimes. So it's kind of fun. Okay. Like I said just a second ago, there are issues with the game right now. You guys and us guys play the same game. We know because we still get shot in the face with like M870s and those sorts of things. And it's frustrating. We totally get it.
Yep.
But like I said before, this current situation is, we don't have a situation where we're like, okay, today the game is fixed. It's Thursday and after this maintenance, it's all going to be good. That's not where we're at. Unfortunately, that would be great. But we have a lot of work to do. That's true.
Yep.
So with these big issues requiring big fixes, we want to keep having this conversation over a period of time because that's what it's going to take. But we want your involvement on that. So on that note, we thought it would be good today to go through what the biggest issues are so we can get on the same page as you guys. Well, I think we are already. That doesn't mean that since we're on the same page, it doesn't mean that all the issues are fixed right now, but it means that we want to get to that point. Make sense?
It does.
Are you with me?
Yeah,
on this?
I'm with you. I'm following.
Good.
I'm
okay,
also
cool.
reading chat in the same time. So
Get this mic out of your mouth, dude. All right, I'm sorry. Try. Nerf console aim assist, not shotguns. All right, these are the types of things, Nero, that we want to talk about.
Yeah.
Actually, the first thing I have on my list is the shotgun/sentry issue that has been probably the biggest cause of frustration for people in the Dark Zone.
Yeah.
Obviously, I mean, I'm not guilty of it yet, but I have been collecting up a set of Sentry to do a very similar thing because, I mean, I get it. Like, that's where the meta's shifting at the moment.
yeah, you're in a situation where this is just a meta, so that's like you either are tempted to do it, but you know that this is not entirely fair with the other players, or you're trying to do something else, but you put yourself in a situation where you're just not as powerful as the other ones. So that's not a nice situation to be in.
But here's the thing. We're aware that the meta's always going to shift. That's what happens in every game that has an online component, has an element of humans, and has RPG mechanics and gear and these sorts of things. I mean, you know, I'm a big Dota fan. That game is amazingly like complex, but it still requires balance changes 15 years. It's always going to shift, right? Similarly with us and every game. And that's not a problem. That's fine. But right now, the meta isn't fun, which is the problem.
And I see in the chat already some people saying balance the PvP and everything, and yeah, exactly. That's one of the aspects that makes PvP really unbalanced and not fun right now, because of this kind of meta that is like, it's not as if you have one meta, but you actually have alternatives. Right now, you just don't. So
no, exactly. And I think
you do, but
no, I mean, and that's kind of the next thing on my list is the Deadeye hipfire thing, which would probably be the other. Well, I mean, there's kind of three things. You've got your Sentry shotgun, you've got your Deadeye hipfire, and you also have Reclaimer.
Yeah.
Right? And all of these things lead to a not fun experience because either you're getting like locked by consumables and, you know, fire and explosions and these sorts of things, or you're being one shot, or you're just being hip-fired at by someone running Deadeye, which would be okay if you weren't being one shot. Like, our game isn't. And our game is and shouldn't be that game.
Yep.
So that's one of the things we have to work on. Again, that isn't something that can be done like in a weekly maintenance. We have to have a big look at exactly how those things will work. The other things I have on this list, which kind of fits in both into PvE and PvP, is the NPC scaling at end game. And I've talked about this on the stream a lot. The 1 to 30 experience, scaling in there works great. And I think people can agree with that. We'll see what chat says about it. Jimmy said something about your mic, but
My mic?
It got something anyway. Guys, we are getting new mics, by the way.
Yeah,
so
we will.
I'm sorry, these aren't ideal.
But yeah, so yeah, as you were saying, like the experience from 1 to 30 is actually really good.
Yeah, we've both been doing a bit of that recently.
Yeah. Trying to level new characters to level 30. But then when you reach end game and you go to 30 plus, then that's where it begins. And the scaling is that like the higher level the NPC and the worse it actually gets. You know, it's like the higher level and the less powerful you feel as a player, because it takes more and more bullets and more ammos and like all these clips to actually kill one NPC, which is also not fun.
So I mean, I think that's I could go back to this later on. But I think that's one of our two biggest issues is the scaling in the end game, because it's also a lot of people die to NPCs in the Dark Zone in a really bad way, not because they were engaging them, but because they were, not in that. Yeah, it's not fun.
Yeah.
You guys know what I'm talking about, right? So I mean, it's a tricky one because you want to add difficulty, but it shouldn't be sponginess and being one.
But yeah, not that kind of difficulty, which is
no.
Yeah.
Exactly, because I mean, the thing that I think people find frustrating, and I find frustrating as well, is like you'll be running like a heroic incursion, like a heroic underground or incursion, or the DZ5 and 6.
Yep.
And regardless of how gear capped you are, you're getting one shot a lot of the time.
Yeah.
And that's not cool.
Yeah.
That's so you're not rewarded for the investment you put into your gear.
Yeah.
Don't love it. Okay, but we'll anyway. So and actually that you actually alluded to it before, solo players.
Yeah.
Because a lot of this affects them more than it affects other people. Obviously, getting one shot, you can't be revived if you're a solo player.
Yeah.
That sucks. And also the ammo issue.
Yeah.
So with sponginess.
Yeah. And also what is linked to that, I was checking if you put it in a list, but what is linked to that is also the scaling between difficulty modes, especially like it's pretty obvious in the underground. Like when you're playing hard mode, you can actually run through hard mode and wreck everything, and then you try challenge mode and suddenly you get wrecked. And there is something off here, obviously, because this is not how it should be. Like if you can very easily run through hard mode, and that means the rewards you're going to get there are probably not super interesting for you. You should actually be able to do challenge mode.
Exactly.
You should not just get completely wrecked. So obviously there is something off there, which also has to do partially with the NPC scaling and the difficulty.
Totally. Actually, someone it's going really quickly, guys. Sorry, it's hard for us to keep up with chat. Someone was saying that they feel like the loot is off, and I kind of agree. And it's something that I knew, but I've noticed even more playing from 0 to 30, or 1 to 30. But you recognize that you have a situation where, like, I'm level 24, but I'm using level 20 guns, and then I get a level 24 gun, and I feel so much more powerful.
Yep.
That's something that we don't have in the end game right now. It's like, and I did mention this at the time when the G36 came out, that the issue wasn't necessarily that the G36 was overpowered. It was that our scaling was off.
Yep.
Right? And it really highlighted that fact. I think people can agree with that. But we need to exactly figure out what the solution is to that.
Yeah.
I mean, we'll get there.
Yeah.
All right. What else do I have on this list? Gear sets. I mean, obviously, a lot of people are going towards ones like Sentry. I mean, of course, it gives you by far the biggest damage output. You have things like the Reclaimer, like I mentioned before.
Yeah, there's that, and that also links to the reward aspect you were mentioning before, also, and like the items also, because the fact that there are gear sets that are obviously better than other ones means that when you're doing this activity that's going to take some time, that's going to be hard, and the reward you get is one of the gear sets that are not interesting. Most people think are not interesting. That makes it very frustrating. So on top of making rewards just feel better, also actually having items that are meaningful and that are actually feel like an upgrade, that's something super important.
Yes, exactly. And that's something that I've also put on my list is named weapons.
Oh yeah.
Like what? Like there's a reason we don't use them.
Yeah.
They're not very good.
Yeah.
But that shouldn't be the case. So that's one of the things that definitely needs fixing.
Absolutely.
One of the comments I've seen in chat a lot, not just today, but over other days, and it kind of works with the whole Dark Zone thing, is that people feel like there's a lack of a dedicated PvP space, right? And that's not what the Dark Zone is. I think we all agree that that's not it. But for people who are craving that type of gameplay, they're trying to, and I speculate, they're trying to recreate that dedicated PvP type of gameplay in a space that really doesn't support it. Which is problematic, to say the least. So we hear you on that for sure.
In the Dark Zone, you're in a situation where PvP players are looking for PvP, and you have PvE players that are looking for PvE. And no matter what you're looking for, you're going to be encountering the players that are looking for the other thing.
Yeah, there you go.
That's, no matter what, that's going to be a frustrating experience.
Yeah, MTTHK saying Arena would fix the DZ. I mean, I don't disagree. Well put. Thank you. That's really nice.
Somebody was saying, sorry I didn't catch your name, but was saying, talking about the enemy difficulty and the scaling, starting by like lowering their health by 20% or whatever. I think it's more complicated than that, because what we need is we actually need a proper scaling system. That means that eventually you could even also add more difficulty, like higher levels, whatever. It's not just a matter of changing their health. It's more a matter of finding a new approach to difficulty, which is not necessarily more bullet sponginess.
You're reading my mind, man. That's exactly it.
That's what I guess most people would agree on. So, and that's what we've seen on the feedback as well.
Totally. It's one of those things. Like I get the conundrum, right? You want to make things more difficult, and we want to hear your ideas on this. Like, obviously, right now, the way difficulty is being increased is not the way to go. But there needs to be more difficulty. Is it through harsher AI? Is it like these sorts of things? And it's not going to be the easiest thing to get right, but we need to do something to make it, to get that difficulty in there, but make it difficult. I think a lot of it, because our game is a loot game, and this isn't me speaking for game designers, but one of the things that I've seen people talk about as I've been playing through from 0 to 30 is making sure that those power jumps relate to gear in a more logical way, right? So for example, like I said before, if I'm level 24 and I go from using a 20 to 24 weapon, then I'm more powerful, right? So imagine if you had a world where I'm playing through hard incursions, and I can't do the challenging ones yet, but all the gear that I need to do a challenging incursion drops in hard, and so, you know, so on and so forth. But right now we kind of have a situation where to get the gear to do challenge mode, and this is something that I saw this morning on Reddit as well, that to do challenge mode, you need the gear from challenge mode. Yeah. And to do heroic, you need gear from heroic mode.
That's the issue when we were talking about like the scaling between hard and challenge and all these kind of things. For example, when you're stuck in hard mode and you're just getting rewards for hard mode, you actually don't necessarily gear up to be able to do challenge mode. And then you're stuck in this situation where the only activities you can do are activities that will not provide you with any upgrades. So all you have to do is actually try to find a carry that's actually going to get you through higher difficulties, and that's not how it should be. So this is a situation that needs to be addressed.
Exactly. Another thing, I don't actually have this on the list, but I think it goes to the whole DZ discussion that people are bringing up. Someone was talking about make a PvE only DZ, and there's I don't think that's the solution, but I think there's something in that sentiment that is really valuable. I think the underground could be more rewarding in certain ways. But what was the point I was trying to make? I had a point. Yannick, say something interesting and I'll try and remember it.
I'm reading a fix explosive stagger, and that's also something that's related to the reclaimer. That's completely different. That's not your point, but I read that.
But there's so much coming in from chat that I'm
all the things I see in the chat are things that we definitely want to talk about and are things we want to address. So
yes. Damn it, I had such a good point. I was going to blow everyone's minds with it, but it's gone.
I'd carry everyone. That's nice, Zombies Assassin. Can you carry me?
Yes.
I need upgrades.
Yeah, it's true. But that's the problem, right?
So what else do you have in your list, then? Maybe you'll remember.
Maybe I'll remember. Obviously, HVT is only dropping Lone Star. That is more of a problem now than it was at first, because Lone Star...
But it's the whole gear waiting thing.
It's everything, right?
It's been a big discussion for weeks and months, and this is something we need to change, because obviously this is also a very frustrating experience when you're doing the HVTs. The HVTs are fun, but all you get is Lone Star, or the same with Underground. You're doing Underground, and most of the time you just get Firecrest and Blind. It's just like,
I see Drew just yelling, Battle Royale, Battle Royale, and he's just getting timed out. But I see you, man. I see you. I'm going to ban you, but I see you. Xbox stutter is obviously another thing that we have. that's on the list.
It's not just the stutter. We have performance issues.
There's performance issues across all.
Yeah. So yeah, that's also something that's very high on the list.
Exactly. Scavenging, we talked about it a lot. It doesn't make sense right now. Again, that means that Nomad doesn't make sense.
Yeah,
well, it makes sense.
Scavenging only works for the leveling parts, but once you're level 30 and you're in the end game, scavenging pretty much doesn't bring you anything.
Yeah,
so
exactly. And a lot of the ideas that I've seen around scavenging have focused on other issues in the game. So like people like, we talked about before how there's not enough ammo dropping, or it's requiring more ammo. It's like, what does scavenging increase the amount of ammo I got, or crafting materials, or these sorts of things. Yeah. Oh, we had some test
Philip
bars
5150 was asking also what about the PS4 sound issue. Also, yes. When we talk about performance and all these kind of things, it's all this hardware stuff. Yes, PS4 sound issue is also one where you will be playing on PS4 and then suddenly the sound stops.
Yep. Performance mods. Yep. Agreed. They were buffed, but they still aren't really usable.
Nope.
Agreed. And then obviously there's a lot of little things that people mention which aren't game breaking but are annoying, right? We increased the stash size, but we've still been giving people ways to find or get skins, weapon skins.
Which still take inventory space.
Still take inventory space. Or stash space, or wherever you're putting them.
Yeah.
And that would be great to get rid of.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of other things like that, which aren't game breaking, but it lowers your enjoyment.
It's all the quality of life things that, I mean, as you said, there was a stash size that we did already, but that's just one step. There are many other things that we can do to improve.
Exactly. Kebab 55 says no lag. That's the goal. That's the goal. Virtuoso saying skills bucking up.
Yeah.
We know that's definitely, that is game breaking. That's not cool. When you can't use your skills, or the ladder bug and these sorts of things.
Yeah.
Those all have to go.
Server lagging. There were some people talking earlier about the ladder bug as well. These are all
buyback and loadouts, please. When you say buyback, you're talking about if you accidentally sell something to a vendor.
Oh yeah,
right.
I did that recently. That's not fun.
Yeah, that's not good. I've embarrassingly done that on stream and I didn't say anything. And I didn't tell anyone. I've done it too.
No, I did that.
I was like, I meant to do that. I totally meant to do that, but total fail.
That happens, and that's...
So things like locking gear and being able to save loadouts and these sorts of things.
Yeah.
We totally agree with you guys on that. We definitely hear you. I was almost going to play the drinking game and say we're looking into it.
I think we said we're aware of it and we're looking into it a few times already.
All right.
So.
Okay. Because I know that people are, as soon as we see we're doing State of the Game today, they're like, I wonder how many times Yannick's going to be like, so yeah. Or we're looking into it. We're aware of it. I mean, it's true. We are aware of a lot of things and we're looking into a lot of things.
Yeah.
Exactly how we're going to deal with these will become clear soon. Like I said to you guys, the next couple of weeks are going to be very critical for us and for you guys. And that's why we want to have these conversations. I'm really, really glad that we are able to see you guys and that you're still here and we can talk to you.
That's just to return this point. It's just like the point of the State of the Game today is just to tell you that we are aware of all these kind of things, to comment on it and to show that, these are things that we are actually really looking at right now. Totally. As Hamish said, expect more information in the next weeks on how we are actually going to address this. But yes, there really is the intention on our side to deal with all of that. So,
Higher skill up, we can't pay him enough.
Higher skill up.
Hey, dude.
I don't know if he would move from Australia to Sweden anyway. I think he likes Australia.
Yeah. That's true. He likes all that Vegemite. Crazy dude. What else have we got here? What will happen next week then? Tell us. We can't right now. There's a lot of things we have to do internally to get all of that sorted before we can.
Guys that just joined, are they looking at it? Yes, we're looking at it.
We're looking.
We're looking at it. We're looking at all the things.
Seriously, higher skill up. Actually, that goes to kind of the next thing I wanted to talk about. I wanted to give a shout out to.
No, we're not going to say we're hiring skill up.
No, I didn't say that.
No.
Did I? What?
No, you didn't. You didn't say that.
Right.
It's just you say higher skill up. Whatever. Anyway, that's my stupid brain.
Sometimes I say things. I'm pretty sure I didn't say that.
No, you didn't say
Okay, good. But there are... Skill Up put out a really good video I think it called the real state of the game, basically top 10 things from the community. We agree with all of it.
Yep.
100%. Again, like I said, we play the same game as you guys, and we need to, as a studio, have ownership of this game as much as we can, but also it's your guys' game too. And then I guess Yannick and I view our jobs as that mid-ground.
Yep.
To make sure that everyone gets what they want. Because I think if, and I said this on stream the other day, if ownership existed solely on Massive, that wouldn't be great, because then there'd be a bunch of cool stuff that we miss from the community. But if you had the other extreme where it existed on the entirely on the community, you'd have basically a kind of mess, because you have too many cooks in the kitchen and all that. But we can create something really cool.
Yeah. The point being, though, that it doesn't mean you guys shouldn't make videos and you guys shouldn't comment on issues and things that you think
that's exactly what I'm saying. You should totally do that. Which Scale did. And actually, like Butter or Drew, who's probably still in chat, his really good recent video about what his thoughts were on it. Fantastic. Thanks, man. But one of the questions that came up in it was something I thought was pretty interesting, because we've talked about how all weapons should be usable and all of that. Drew had a really good point that maybe shotguns and LMGs should be usable, but not in terms of comparable damage, but in terms of utility, which I thought was really cool. And I'm not saying that this is like what we should do or that we would do this, but these are the types of things that really help the conversation.
Yeah.
Like Drew brought up the point that that shotguns should not be comparable in terms of damage, but utility in terms of like stagger or slowing enemies and these sorts of things. So you have a weapon type that is catered towards that.
Yep.
And I think that's really cool. Again, I'm not saying that's something we would do, but it's the type of thing that we love to hear.
Yeah. Just to answer, because I've seen a few questions in the chat about survival. Guys, we're not going to talk about survival today.
No.
So if you're here to get some information about survival, it's not going to happen today, because we think there are more pressing matters that we need to discuss before we talk about survival. We don't want to give this impression that we're actually going to try to make you forget about the game issues by putting new content on top of it.
So like wave shiny things in front of people's faces, but that's not going to happen right now. But you'll see survival very soon. It's cool. I can't say.
Nah.
Damn it. Another time. Sorry. But again, another one that I saw from the community that was really, really good. There's a really great Reddit thread at the moment from Abvex, ABVEX, titled, "I am a simple man, here is a simple idea, Massive." Good start. But he or she posited that the open world is great. We agree on that. And that's kind of what the intentions from HVTs was to get people back in there. It hasn't done the whole job, but they proposed that since we have 15 PvE districts and 13 gear sets, that we create a system where there'd be a named boss in each one of them, and they'd have weighted loot tables for specific gear sets. I think that's a great idea. And also weighted loot tables for specific weapons and these sorts of things. I think that's really cool.
Yep.
Again, like I think I said it on the thread, while I don't, and we obviously can't commit to saying that's a great idea, let's put it in. I think it's a really good way to say, that's a great idea, here's why it's cool, and here's the problem that it could potentially solve. And those are the types of things we need to look at and get inspiration from. I just wanted to say thanks. Thanks, Abvex. That's really cool. I appreciate those ideas.
Somebody was talking about that we should look at Marco style videos also, and not just the ones from Butter or whatever. We do.
There's videos from a lot of people.
Yeah, and we really look at them.
And not just videos.
Yeah, I mean, we also, and that's the thing. We do look at the videos. We do look at the feedback. We do read everything, even if it's negative feedback. We're reading that.
I saw Chronovan's last comment.
What?
I'm legitimately sexually attracted to Yannick. We all are. So.
But that's not relevant to discussion.
I know, but it just made me laugh. I'm cool with it. Sorry, I derailed everything.
I don't know where I was. I was trying to say something very deep and serious. No, yeah, feedback, negative feedback. Yes, negative feedback is good. Give it. I mean,
it is. And I had another point to add to that. We don't even want people to feel like the barrier to entry to getting content or feedback or ideas to us is that you have to be a YouTuber with X amount of subscribers.
No.
That's not at all the case. Like I said, Abvex, who did a great Reddit thread, or people on the forums who make really good ideas and things that way, that's what we need. You know, it's just if you happen to be a player who's played a lot of hours, who knows the game inside and out, regardless of if you have a YouTube channel or you stream or, you know, have enough Reddit karma or, you know, whatever. Just, we'll find it. And if it's a good idea, it's a good idea, regardless of who you are.
X-Tech says you staggered me.
I staggered you?
I was trying to say something
I'm just trying
and you explosive bulleted me.
That's weird.
What's happening? Fix the stream.
I don't know. Yeah. I mean,
Martin, what are you doing?
It's that's strange. I don't know. I have to look into that. Maybe our switcher is having a death rattle. We'll see. Nothing like promoting YouTube elitist lol. That's not what we're doing. In fact, I'm saying entirely the opposite. It's more the fact that these people on whatever platform they have a lot of content on, it's more the fact that they play the game a lot, regardless of how they get their content out there.
Yeah,
that's important. If you have a lot of YouTube subscribers or Twitch followers or, I don't know, whatever platform you're on, that's not important to us because your ideas could still be good or bad.
Yeah.
All right. Hope that makes sense.
Some people are asking about fixes and everything. So just to be clear, so there was no fixes today. We didn't do any update or any patch. That doesn't mean we won't do it anymore. And when we talk about like big work with all the balancing things and all that what we've talked about, that doesn't mean we are not going to be doing bug fixes in between. So just because we didn't do anything this week doesn't mean we are not going to do anything in the next weeks. We will. But as far as addressing the things that we talked about now, this is something we'll be giving you more visibility on in the weeks to come, because we want to work with you on how to actually address that. And we want to make sure to involve you in the process. So right now, today, we just really wanted to give you visibility on the things that we are looking at and we are aware of. But yeah, we are not, so far, we are not talking about how we're going to fix it yet.
So BLS Disciple just says, greatest state of the game ever. I laugh my ass off. Co-workers are laughing. That's cool. I'm going to take that as a good thing. I saw you, and fun fact, BLS Disciple watches our stream while driving a forklift.
Okay.
So don't laugh too hard and kill people with the forklift, please. Otherwise...
How are you laughing with your coworkers if you're watching while driving?
It's a nightmare, regardless of how this is working out.
That sounds complicated.
Well, yeah. Please be careful.
Shot me out, yo. Death by design.
Did it.
Done.
The other thing, someone asked if we could settle a bet for them, and I'm going to help you out there. I'm just going to say that Yannick's beard is working as intended.
Oh, yeah.
And then I think you get $50 for me saying working as intended. There you go. Does that help you out? Can we share the profits, please? I'm kind of having a really good time. How much time do we have left? Sorry for doing this. Oh, we're actually at servers might be up now.
I don't know if the servers are up or not. So.
But I don't want to go just yet because this is fun.
No, I mean, yeah, let's.
And you have some stats actually.
Yeah, I have a bit of stats. There's something we wanted to talk about. I'm just still gonna get a shootout now. Everybody wants a shootout. I'm random YT. Is that how you say your name? Servers are up. So apparently servers are up. So if you guys want to play, just go and play. For the guys who want to hang out, we'll be here for a few more minutes.
Yeah, I think I might grab some food and stream after this. Unless there's something critical we need to do this afternoon. We'll talk about it later.
No, let's talk about it live.
Let's talk about it live.
Hill delay. Oh, yeah, hill delay. Oh,
yeah, that's definitely one of the issues we know about.
Annoying.
Congrats on landing a movie, guys. Can't wait for it. That Yannick landed the movie all by himself.
Yeah, I signed the contract.
He signed it.
I talked to my twin brother, Tom Cruise.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Yannick's getting commission for all of the profits. And he's going to be in a romantic relationship with Jessica Chastain, so cool.
Okay, that is great.
You got a good job.
All right. Back to the game. Stats. So yeah, we looked at a few stats. We used to do that during the beta. It was fun, and then we didn't do it anymore. So I wanted to do it again. Or we wanted to do it again. We looked at something like underground ranks, for example. And I'm going to ask you questions, and you guys have to tell me what do you think.
These ones are kind of serious, like because I think they kind of actually give a bit of insight into where we're at in terms of our player base. It's not like, hey, fun stats, how many cleaners we killed. This is cool. Anyway, you go.
WTF so awkward. Yeah, that kind of was awkward.
Yeah.
Anyway, and I make it awkward again. Okay, all right. I'm going to ask you guys, what do you think is the percentage of players that actually have access to Underground that reach rank 40?
Rank 40. We'll give you like 30 seconds. Yeah.
Did you?
I mean, I know it's not many, but I didn't know.
Yeah.
10%, 28% reach rank 40.
30.
Oh, someone got it right, but it was
I see a few right answers there. But you guys are way too high.
You're way too high. There's a few of them, like 5 or 6 people I've seen.
There's a few of
have
them.
gotten it. If you guessed 1%,
you would be right. 1% of players who actually have access to Underground and have played Underground have reached level 40 or rank 40, which is not much. And as many people, I would have guessed more. But no, just 1%. We have 50% of players that are below rank 13. So you do the math, and there is 49% between 13 and 40. And we have 25% of players that are actually below rank 7. So it's people who played the Underground but maybe didn't like it. Or
I think a lot of that has to do with gear set weighting. I mean, obviously, in an ideal world, we'd love 100% of people to reach rank 40. I mean, that would never happen because of distribution. But
sorry, just to comment on things, because I see people saying, yeah, that's because it's boring, or that's because the rewards are not good, or whatever. I'm not saying that's a good thing. I'm just...
no, we're just saying what the truth is.
It's numbers we're looking at. And obviously, if only 1% reach rank 40, maybe we can help with that.
I haven't reached rank 40. I'm like 20... I think I'm like 26, 27.
Yeah, it's the same. I mean, I'm 20-something, and there is this part where you start it starts, feeling a bit repetitive, and you're like, okay, do I want to keep investing in that or not? I mean, you want the directives, but it's quite an investment. So again, we're not we're not celebrating and saying 1% of you made it to 40. No.
It really goes to highlight that what I would define as the main issues in our game right now: enemy scaling, so the different difficulties. And itemization is a big problem. And if we had both of those things in a better state, I guarantee that more people would be higher rank in the Underground.
50J Bank says Underground loot blows. Yeah. I as a player, I would agree. I mean, to be honest, I'm playing it and I just don't get any upgrades. So obviously...
Daytona 2016 says, it's fun, but the rewards, Yeah, so that's what I'm saying.
I think...
we can improve on that. And I think it'll be interesting to come back to these numbers and see if those change.
Okay, next one.
Dark Zone, about 20%. Wait.
No,
I'm just going to go through this one. I'm just going to tell you it. About 28% of average playtime spent in the Dark Zone. Now, actually, there is a question about that, because that's recently, right?
That's active players in the last 7 days.
Based on what do you think that number would have been 4 weeks ago? That's a good question, I think. Yeah. Higher, lower than 28%, because that's right now. 28% of average playtime spent in the Dark Zone. Do you think it's gone up or down? Do you think this number is higher or lower than what it was 4 weeks ago? That's my question.
I see people trying to guess.
I think it's higher. It's a big spread. You think less people are playing in the Dark Zone now? I mean, spending less time in the Dark Zone?
See a lot of lower.
Yeah.
A few higher.
Lower, obviously. Actually, and I was surprised because I thought the same thing. It's basically the same. There's been a 1% shift in the amount of time players are spending in the Dark Zone.
Yeah.
Really surprising, because I thought that given the experience right now, which I don't love either, that it would have gone significantly down.
Yeah.
But this doesn't obviously show players' sentiment. So people are spending the same amount of time in there, but I don't think they're having as good of a time.
Yeah, doesn't mean they're enjoying it.
No, exactly. All right.
Yeah.
What about the next one, dude?
Okay, so gear score. Let's talk about gear score and the player gear score. So the question I'm going to ask is, what do you think is the percentage of players, of active players? So, and by active, I mean players that logged in the last 7 days. That's what I will call active players. What's the percentage of active players that actually reached gear score 230 plus? which is, you know, the gear score to go in the Dark Zone 231 and everything.
255 Master Race.
Master Race.
99.8%. I don't think so.
Get rid of gear score, it's useless. Yeah, we've seen all these discussions as well. Definitely, I think there are some improvements that are needed with gear score. 90, 80, 75, 65. All right, it's very spread
wow,
across.
it's very spread from like 4 to 98%.
Yeah. But yeah, most of you guys are kind of right. We have 47%. So 47% of active players that played in the last 7 days are actually gear score 230 plus, which is interesting. What's also interesting is that we have 23% that are between 200 and 230, and we have 30% that are actually below 200. And we're talking active players here. We're not talking people who stopped playing. We're talking active players. So that's interesting.
That is interesting. Obviously, that could be players who have been newly acquired. Like if you've just bought the game in the last 7 days, you're going to be below gear score 200. But still, that was surprising to me. The last one, because we've run way over time, but this is fun. Gear score is not important. Turbo beat port, I wouldn't say it's not important. It's not important as an indicator of your skill or even the power of your gear. It's loosely indicative, but I get what you're talking about.
Yeah, you might be right. Dark Knight 2's saying it's new alts. It could be. Could also be.
New what?
New alts. The characters that are gear score 200 below 200.
Yeah.
Could be that it's not particularly like players. It might just be alt characters.
Oh, that's true. Okay, incursions percentage. This is interesting. Let me phrase the question so I don't mess it up this time. We have 3 different ones. Obviously, we have Clear Sky, Falcon's Lost, and Dragon's Nest.
Yeah.
Of those active players, how many of our weekly active players would you say are playing Dragon's Nest? So every week, if you're an active player, how many of those active players are playing Dragon's Nest? Obviously, that you could take into account things like the 4 horsemen farming that people are doing, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Someone says all of them.
Somebody said 100. I didn't play Dragon's Nest, so I'm guilty. So I'm the reason why it's not 100. Oh, that's not true. I played Dragon's Nest once, but it was not in the last 7 days.
Okay. I've done it a bit. 4 horsemen farming? Yeah, so a lot of people are doing a thing, which we have said is not an exploit, it's a legitimate. You're using Gamertag, it's totally cool. Where you go and you complete the 4 horsemen, you get the drops, you restart the whole thing. That's fine. This includes farming. All right. Actually, only 14% of players active players play Dragon's Nest.
And that's participated in Dragon's Nest. Doesn't mean they actually succeeded. Doesn't mean they went to the end. So it could be people that are also doing the 4 horsemen farming, definitely. But
exactly, 14%. And so for Falcon's Lost, it's 8%.
100 minus Yannick. Yeah.
8% of active players doing Falcon's Lost. I think those are the people looking for Sentry, obviously. 4% of players looking at Clear Sky. We did know that Clear Sky would be the least. When you said this to me, I had the order correct when we talked about this earlier, but I didn't get the numbers right.
I personally, at first I would have thought that Falcon's Lost was the one that people were playing the least, just because
it's oldest,
it's older and it's annoying. At least I find it annoying. But on the other hand, you get Sentry out of it, so I guess
that's true. And I mean, if anyone's running a Deadeye build, they may be in Clear Sky trying to get Hunter's Faith 2-piece, maybe. So there's that. But again, that Sentry farm, and then obviously the 4 horsemen farm for Dragon's Nest. So that's it.
Clear Sky sucks. Yeah, apparently at least.
I don't think Clear Sky sucks, but
having only 4% people doing it shows that it doesn't have to be the incursion. I think it's also the rewards that go out of it. Obviously, I'm pretty sure if we would ask you if you prefer Falcon Lost to Clear Sky, I'm not sure it's a matter of do you enjoy doing it. It's more what reward do you get out of it.
Exactly. So. Which
is a problem.
Yes, it is a problem, for sure. We're way over time, but this has been cool. it's been good to see virtually see all of you again. But we're gonna
yes, SlitCon official. Yes, vanity item caps. That's an issue. That's a bug where you may hit a vanity item cap. There shouldn't be. That shouldn't be. So that's gonna be fixed.
Yeah, that's one of the ones we definitely know about.
Yeah.
Again, like I said earlier, thank you all for being here because while we don't have any fixes to a lot of the issues we've talked about today, just a regular server maintenance, we want to make sure that we keep having these conversations because it really helps us, and then in turn it'll help you guys because it will make our game better, especially the next few weeks. I think it's going to be very, very important.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. What's the best way for people to have those interactions with us, Yannick? I know a lot of people have been like, how do I email a dev directly? You can't. You kind of have to go through us.
Yeah.
But what are the best places?
Well, I mean, you can contact us obviously on Twitter at YannickBCH and at HamishBode, all together, right?
Yep.
You can also reach out to us on the forums. We're also reading Reddit, on Twitch, obviously, when we're available.
Yep.
We're also here.
Yep.
Am I forgetting something?
Forums? Do you say forums?
Yeah, I said forums.
Okay. I just feel like we should say that a lot.
But yeah, just put it out there, and odds are that we're going to see it. I'd say best way is probably to tweet it at us, though.
Yes, I would say that too. And again, a lot of people have put big decks together of huge posts that go really in depth. Those are fantastic. Twitch chat's great for us to get an idea of the direction of the conversation, even if it's not specific. So basically anywhere. If you are engaging with us in a constructive way, we'll make sure that that's included in the conversation. So it's cool. It's very, very good. Can you this all over? I just popped in, says people covered in fish. People covered in fish, that's okay. Weird name, but I think a past broadcast you'll be able to find it in.
I didn't get your name either. Somebody was asking about season pass owners not getting their bi-monthly supply drop thing.
People misunderstanding me.
Oh, okay.
This happens.
I'm not aware of this one. Surprisingly, we're not aware of it. We might be. I don't know. That's the first time I hear of it. So if it's not reported, make sure it's reported on forums. And if you can, tweet the link to me or at me, and I will have a look at that because, yeah, I didn't know some people were experiencing that. So we need to fix it.
Yes. I did not say big dicks, by the way. I did not say that. I said big decks. Like a PowerPoint deck, but not in PowerPoint on Reddit. Just so that makes sense. Just so we're clear. DECKS. It is a problem with a Kiwi accent that apparently those words can sound alike. If you say that you have a big deck, please. I'm saying that I have a big wooden space out the back of my home. I don't, but that's what I would. I'm not going to do it again, Yannick.
Sorry, I was not listening. I was reading people commenting on it.
All right.
I'm not going to say it either.
Okay.
I have issues with other words that people get wrong when I say them.
This is falling apart, man. Let's go.
let's have an open moment about it now. We're not talking about the game anymore. Let's talk about languages and accents.
Okay, yeah, English gentleman got it. Thank you. Okay. It's good to be back. And we'll talk more about really, really inappropriate things and also really appropriate things in future State of the Games. And I promise it won't be this lewd all the time. That's it. If you guys are up for it, I'm keen to do a bit more streaming this afternoon because I think the conversation today has been really good. We can talk more about what's happening in the game, good and bad, and also what should happen in the... I want to hear your ideas, all those sorts of things. Yeah, Judy Walters Echo and that sort of stuff. Yes, we definitely know about these ones.
Yeah.
So stick around, and we're going to basically put the stream on hold. I won't take it offline, but then I'll switch over to the streaming computer and I'll be back in a bit. I might have a bit of food with me because it's lunchtime. I don't have a watch, but if you don't mind me doing some social eating, that'd be okay. All right.
And expect more information next week.
Yes, next week's going to be fun.
That's all I will say about it.
It's going to be good. All right, I'm going to do this until we...
No, you're making it awkward now.
No, it's already way awkward.
Okay.
All right,
cool.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye. See you soon.